So burn injuries. Wait a minute. Where do they usually happen?
In buildings.
I missed that.
Classes are.
That's the whole lecture. Burn injury happens on the skin. Wow. Who's that? Come on it up. Who's that?
It's Caleb. It's so sweet.
I love that. I got to get that on a shirt.
You have to get that on the test.
Where does burn injury occur? Absolutely. She's not. It puts the lotion on. What does our skin do?
Protects us.
It does. It's your first layer of protection. It's not specific. We went over the immune system. It doesn't form any memory. It's just there. It keeps things out. What does that mean when I say it keeps things in?
Like fluid.
Everything don't leak out. What does it have to do with your temperature?
It regulates it.
Regulates your temperature. Regulators.
I said two.
How many layers? 3. What are they?
Dermis, and another one.
What's under the sub-Q layer?
Oh, muscle.
Muscle. Epidermis, dermis, sub-Q layer. What do we kind of call that? Adipose layer, muscle. Burn injury. Basically, it's just tissue damage because of something. What are different types of burns? What causes the damage? Thermal, which is what? Heat. Chemical. 2 different kinds.
Acid base, basic.
What'd you say? Who said it?
Acid basic.
Acid and base. Which one's worse? No.
Base.
Alkali. It liquefies. Anybody ever worked at a concrete factory? Worked around a concrete factory? What do they use to make concrete? Lye. You get that on your skin. It eats you alive. It does. What does it do to the body? It liquefies it.
She's like, just throwing that out.
He was like, electrical. Yeah, we ain't talking about like you plug it in and it's. No. What are we talking about here?
Lots of volts.
High voltage, possibly even what?
Lightning.
Like
Maybe even lightning. This one is the least. In our world, maybe what?
X-rays and stuff.
X-ray, radiology. That's why we all, if you work around that, wear that little bag. How do we decide if it is bad, worse, or the terrible, awful? Depth.
How much? The size.
How much of your body surface is burned?
What got burned?
What got burned? As in what? What do you mean?
Like face, airway,
Face,
trunk,
airway,
yeah.
trunk,
genital,
genitals. What about
feet.
if you burned on the bottom of your feet? Why does that matter?
You can't walk.
You can't not walk. Well, I mean, you can. You can sit there. What else plays into the severity? classroom a few minutes ago and we all age. Very young, very old. That being said, something else plays into that doesn't have anything to do with age. Comorbidities. What if I weigh 400 pounds, I've got diabetes, I smoke 4 packs a day, and I drink a Colt 45 every 5 minutes?
You might be a redneck.
You might.
Might be right.
He's on a roll today. I hear that. Wow. You might be a redneck, and you were the one that said, "Here, hold my beer, watch this."
Oh, thank you.
All right, depth. How do we term this? What are the words we use?
The thick
First
person.
degree, second degree, third degree.
That it is what we used to say, and we are going to use that terminology, but nowadays it's superficial,
It's more.
partial thickness, full thickness, and there is a first, second, third, and fourth degree burn. Body surface area, type of burn, body area burn, and are there any complications? Age, comorbidities. Here's the thing, guys. You can't stop somebody from getting struck by lightning. You can't do it. If the boat, and this was awful, if they're out on the boat and they're trying to get the propane hooked up and it explodes and throws them in the dirty water, you can't stop that. You can't stop the chemical plant from exploding. What do we do as nurses? We treat the fallout, right? But you have to understand how to treat the fallout, right? Patient stabilization is first. It's always ABCs, but now, what is in the back of my mind? What kind of burn is this? Somebody already said it.
Chemical?
If it's a chemical, somebody said it back there. Is it an airway burn? Is it an inhalation burn?
Yeah.
Do they have soot in their mouth? It's every different situation is always ABCs, but something different is going to get thrown in depending on what is the situation. Now it's a burn. Is it an inhalation burn? Is it a chemical burn? Did the patient drink Drano? It's still a chemical burn, but it burned all the way down. I'm not going to get them to throw it up, am I? It's going to burn all the way up. You're going to secure that airway. Fluid resuscitation is huge. Do we usually give too much or not enough?
I don't know.
Hell no. We give them too much. Way too much. Because we usually get nervous and don't do the Parkland formula right in these little hospitals. Pain control is huge. We have to prevent complications. They will go into hypovolemic shock. This is what kills them. It ain't gonna kill them the first day.
No.
This is what kills them the first day if it's a bad burn. This is what kills them the first day. And they'll go into multi-organ dysfunction. Why is burn care so complex? There's a lot of things going on, right? Did we mention this at all when we talked about shock? Nope. I think I told you guys this used to be included, but we took it out. Guys, it was like 12 different kinds of shock. Hypoglycemic shock, burn shock, because your sock's too tight shock. So here's what the thing is about burn shock. The only time we talk about it is in burn. But here's the thing. You have had a massive burn. half your skin is gone. You've had an insult to the system. You mount a massive inflammatory response. What is released? What happens? Capillaries begin to leak. Where's your fluid go? Outside to the tissues, but your skin's gone. Where is it going to? It's also leaking out, right? So you've got your fluid being distributed to the wrong places. You also have it leaking out, just leaking out. Now, you've got fluid loss from the damaged skin. You've got fluids being distributed to the wrong places. Cardiac output goes to the toilet, right? Tissue hypoperfusion. Has anybody heard this before? Where are we going? Anaerobic, cellular hypoxia, anaerobic metabolism. What's going to happen? Sodium potassium pump failure, hyperkalemia, cell lysis and death, MODS and death. For burns, this happens quick if it is a bad burn. If it is a really bad burn, like 90%, it can happen in minutes. Minutes. Burn shock. This is why they took it out. Is distributive shock and hypovolemic shock at the same time. Their blood pressure is 20 over dead. This is why it's so important to give them fluids. But why would it be important to not give them too much fluids?
Because they're just losing it all.
They are losing it, but can you give somebody too much?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can tip that scale, right? You might want to pay attention to this EKG strip.
He's so happy.
There are rules for a hyperkalemic EKG strip. It has to be half the height of the QRS. And it's tall. It's not rounded like a STEMI. Y'all know what a STEMI looks like. It's tall and peaked. As the potassium level goes up, the higher it gets. Sooner or later, you lose your P wave. What is the QRS doing?
What?
As it gets higher, it gets even wider. This becomes what's called a sine wave. And then it becomes what? VFib. VFib from hyperkalemia really doesn't respond to defibrillation. They're gonna die. You know what it does respond to? What's the treatment for hyperkalemia?
Dextrose and insulin.
There's something that you need to give way before that. Calcium
Gluconate. Chloride.
In this case, so there's two drugs that you are right. Calcium gluconate normally.
Ah.
Calcium chloride has 3 times the amount of calcium in it. It's rather dangerous to give because you can give way too much calcium. You will only see that given in a code. Like normal hyper-K, you'll give calcium gluconate. Our protocols for Lifelike, the only time we gave calcium chloride, you would get written up is if this had started. Because I didn't need a little bit, I needed a lot. If you gave calcium chloride any other time, you're talking to the medical director because you could cause a lot of problems. So, if this has started, you ain't got long. But the 2 patients I had this start, it was 8.6. And we had a patient in Tanoga Daryl's not in here, it was 9.2, and I'm looking at him, I'm like, you feel okay? Yeah. Are you sure you feel okay? And like, we sent it down to, I'm like, that can't be right. Yes, it was right. And I could not believe he was still saying, I mean, his EKG looked like crap, but I'm like, can somebody go get the D50 and the insulin right now? That is truly what it looks like. Now, it's just tall and peaked at that point. So we're starting out at 4.1. Oh shit, okay. Just kidding. Six, 7.3, 8.3, 8.7. I tried to figure out how to slow that down, but I didn't have time. You've got to get that. Do y'all know how calcium works?
Is it stabilizes the cardiac?
It stabilizes the cardiac membrane. You're so, Alex, what did you drink your Red Bull this morning?
No, he has protein.
Oh. So I'm gonna show some pictures. We're gonna talk about what type of burn that is.
Chemical.
Chemical burn. Do you know what is the pH of hydrochloric acid? If I know, it's like 2 point something, 2.4, 2.5, something like that.
Radiation.
Yeah.
It is. Usually, what kind of burn is that?
Radiation.
A first degree burn.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
called suntan.
Right. For those of us that are Irish, it's called painful.
Yeah.
Can you get a second degree burn?
Yeah, I've had one.
Yes, you can, and it hurts. It makes you hide from the sun for a long time. How about this one?
What is that?
Be careful.
Oh, chemical.
Steam.
Inhalation.
This is a chemical plant, but there's also what?
Fire.
Thermal. So you're gonna have flames, you're gonna have chemicals, and you've got smoke, so you got a whole lot of things going on there. Bless you. How about that one?
Oh, electrical.
A lot.
The bark.
So that, I think I got a little snazzy song.
What?
Where's that? That right there
Subways.
is called the third rail. Y'all don't ever touch the third rail. I think it's 800 joules? 850, thank you.
How do you know that?
Oh,
People get electrocuted on the railroad all the time.
yeah, like it's
She's like, fuck that.
so guys, at that voltage, it breaks bones. Like, people have tried to commit suicide before like that. I don't know why. I think that hopefully it kills them immediately. No, we don't.
Give me the title.
Train will get them.
It does.
I mean,
Like their bottom bones.
Well, for that?
We have to go put them on.
yeah, it's
Fairly old for that.
electrical burns that are that high voltage are awful. How about that one? Alright. I won't remember it. Chemical burns. How do you, if a 18-wheeler turns over on the interstate, how do you figure out what's in the truck?
By the stickers on it.
If it ain't already burned up.
Right, if it ain't already burned up. And how do you know how close to get to the scene?
Oh, yeah.
If I can obliterate it with my thumb, that's exactly how close I'm gonna get.
And park it and go and park it.
Because there are things that they transport on our highways that terrify me. Thermal. Maybe. If they got the meth lab in the back, it's gonna be chemical. It's gonna. What y'all got in y'all garage? Honey. Paint, gasoline, kerosene, your she shed got all the fungicide and everything that's gonna explode. I don't wanna know what y'all got in y'all. Yeah, stop it. Of course, lightning has an ungodly amount of voltage. Here we go with the lie again.
If I'm getting ahead of myself, you can throw a marker at me. What do you classify like road rash? Isn't that considered a burn?
They do take it to the burn unit, but only because it's removed the skin.
Oh.
So that's why. Because they also take Stevens-Johnson syndrome up there because their skin is sloughed off, and you take care of it the same. That's a good point. Now it has to be like Luke B. Nelson, road rash.
Yeah, I know.
Like, and I took care of a guy that, oh my God, he had on his leathers too.
Yeah.
He slid like 100 feet down. Like it was bad.
I see my work all the time.
Yeah, but it's the same way. I think they did a skin graft on him. But yeah.
And then obviously you can have like two different types of burns, right? So like if you're leaving the plant, you could end up with chemical and thermal burn.
Yes. We already talked about this: thermal, chemical, electrical, radiation. Every burn has things that make it worse. And we're going to talk about, so when we go through these, you're going to see the thermal burns and things that make it worse. So I know that sounds stupid, but can hot get hotter? It can. How long were you in there, or how long did you have contact with this thermal source? Or the young lady that her boyfriend pulled her pants down and threw her on the grill and held her there. It mattered how long he held her on the grill.
You didn't say
If I had been her mama, I would have been writing you off in jail. And I would have been like, anyway, it matters how long you were in contact with the thermal source. How far has the heat gone? How much body surface area? We're going to talk about how you estimate that. We already talked about what's burned. I know it all hurts, but there are definite locations that matter. Age, very old, very young. Guys, it doesn't matter what we're talking about. Very, very young, very, very old, always fair words. So, I ain't trying to call y'all out. We talked about this the other day. Who's the youngest? Who's the baby in the class?
Riley.
All right, how old are you?
Probably 21. No, you're 20. And like,
Okay.
she's
We'll just say she's 21. I'm 51. We're in the exact same room, exact same circumstances. Y'all already know. Shut up. Did y'all see that? She said bye-bye. She done offed me that quick. But you know what I'm going to say? Who's going to die? I am. It's just the way it works.
I wish.
She's younger than me. Even if she's not in good shape. She is. Even if she's not in good physical shape. She's 30 years younger than me. That's just the way this works. Now, do y'all know why we teach our kids to crawl on the floor to get out the house? He rises. Wait, anybody in here a firefighter? So, when they trained us to go through the house to do a sweep, we crawl on the floor. Why? So the turnouts we wore, you know, they're only So they're like, oh yeah, it'll protect you up to 1,500 degrees. That's what it says. Your face mask starts melting at 300. So, that's why we crawl too. So teach your kids, crawl. Now, how hot can steam get?
Pretty hot.
What makes the difference? Like if you're boiling it, yeah,
Pressure.
there you go. Pressurized steam can get like 2,000 degrees. So where do we see that? If you're at a chemical factory, right? So if somebody's bringing Jethro in and he works at the chemical factory and they say, oh, he got a steam injury, it needs to get your attention. And he comes in and like all his face is gone. And they're like, oh, he was working down in the boiler. He probably has a really bad inhalation injury. Yes, ma'am.
I worked at Starbucks on and off for 10 years, like in my teenagehood to adulthood, and my coworker, like, you know, Starbucks does steamed for your milk, and she had told her manager, hey, it's faulty, it's bringing water too hot, because coffee, like, lattes are 180. It got up to 300 degrees and spilled on her hand, and like when the paramedic off the fire truck came, said, holy, I would have never thought of it. And it malfunctioned because the sensor didn't read right and it melted her hand. Like she got 7% or 8% disability from it burning her hand at a Starbucks.
Well, I mean, when you fill up your tub, do you know what it's not supposed to be higher than what?
120.
Yeah, like it's set on your, I mean, you can override it, but it's not supposed to be hotter than that. Yes, ma'am.
When I was deployed, I was making all in on my jet oil and I took it off. And I just screwed the red slip and I it fell on my leg. And I didn't tell her.
Oh my God.
I still don't have what you are.
That's why I told you.
We didn't have a doctor where I used to so like my and then she told me just put an outline around it like it's just, I still feel it. I do my job. Like
I know. Steam can be very dangerous, especially if it's even pressurized a little bit. Now, the thing about, and besides these videos are cool, but they're kind of not. There's things about thermal and house fires that also need to get our attention. Can smoke burn? Yes, it can. This is a controlled burn. Those are couch cushions. It's called a flashover. That's 2,000 degrees. Everything that's in the room catches on fire, including the firefighters.
I saw a video saying like they were burning stuff in the 80s, like furniture and house, like showing a house fire to like today's times and how everything is synthetic. So like couches are so synthetic that something like a house fire could take 20, 30 minutes to wake up people and you could still get out, to now it could be minutes that your house can be engulfed because everything is synthetic and highly flammable. Like they make couches with flammable stuff in it now, I guess. Biological. Yeah, you would, but it's not. So go to your local Goodwill and get 80s furniture.
Right. So basically what happens is the carbon dioxide and the particles that are going up to the roof, once it gets heated enough, catches on fire. Wait, no, not that. mention the couch cushions. Especially the older ones is very important, what they used to make them out of. That was a couch that was on fire. Let's say that was a living room and you were in the next room asleep and it starts burning, and that didn't happen, but it's just smoldering and the smoke is coming, and it's an enclosed space. But you finally did wake up, you go to the hospital, and oh God, you're coughing and all this. Why is it important that you tell them you were in an enclosed space with that burning?
Because you inhaled that toxin or whatever, carbon monoxide.
There are two things that are released when things burn. Carbon monoxide and cyanide. Your 1970s furniture, couch cushions release cyanide. They have changed the formula somewhat, and they say it doesn't release as much. I ain't gonna try it. It's called the toxic twins. Just because somebody comes in that's not burned does not make one damn bit of difference. They might be dying in front of you just as bad. Sometimes smoke kills people more than heat does. If they are in an enclosed space, even if you were in a room like this, if there's something burning back there, and you're in here for 10 or 15 minutes, you still need to have a high index of suspicion they have had smoke inhalation, and they have had exposure to one of these two. We know why cyanides. Why is this dangerous?
No binding.
Because it doesn't bind you. What he said. Because the it binds.
How do we transport oxygen? It attaches to hemoglobin. Carbon monoxide has a 200% better affinity to hemoglobin than oxygen. It'll kick that oxygen right off. Eats it right off. And when you put your pulse ox on there, what does it say? 100%. 100% finna die. So how do you know that they're sick? You are going to do ABGs, but even before that, they're going to come in. They were in an enclosed space. They are going to be short of breath. They're going to be hoarse. They're going to be coughing. They didn't have a thermal burn, but they might have wood in their mouth. Soot. Ashes. They keep coughing. They might have a bad taste in their mouth. This is all facility specific. There is a blood draw you can do. Does anybody know what it is? Carboxyhemoglobin. Some of them is a send-off, but some of the places can do it. And it shows you how much is in the blood. But yes, you are going to do an ABG. I don't know if there's a blood draw for this. But this one is what's going to kill you. We actually have a treatment for this one. Has anybody seen? You might have seen it given and don't know it. Comes in a glass bottle and it looks like port wine. Huh?
I said Vicon.
That's it, but
Oh.
the other name for it, it's a cyano kit. And it must be damn expensive because at Vandy they kept it under lock and key and the charge nurse had to go get it. It is B12. And it saves lives, but you had to meet certain parameters and you had to have been in an enclosed space and all this stuff. But it goes in there and counteracts the cyanide.
Yes.
I would have to look that up, I don't know. Surely there is a test that you can find out if they have been exposed.
No, like is this coming on the test?
Oh, no, the cyano kit, no. But, I mean, you guys are in all the ICUs, you might see stuff like that. I don't know. Here is the other danger. is it always just a burn injury
No.
that they're going to have? No. This is not a cool video. And just killed 3 firefighters. That's a backdraft.
I was just gonna ask about explosives.
Besides backdraft, you know, if the firefighters have responded and the first responders, paramedics, cops, whoever, and they don't know it's a clandestine lab, then there's an explosion. Now you've got thermal injury and traumatic injuries. It throws you into the tree, and now you've got all these broken bones and you're on fire. So just because they say, hey, we've got a burn injury coming in, don't rule out, oh yeah, by the way, everything blew up and it blew everybody out of the way. There can also be associated trauma injuries with burn, especially if there's chemicals or drug labs, or if you've got a firefighter or first responder coming in, there is no telling what has happened. Why does this affect us so much?
Because we have certain,
Huh?
How does it affect who?
The blast? What do you mean?
No, these people.
Oh, cause who's gonna take care of them?
These are our coworkers. Sometimes these are our husbands and wives, and sisters and brothers. What type clinical? Woo! Chemical. It matters. This guy's elevator did not go all the way to the top. I worked at Methodist South in Memphis. It was right across the North Mississippi line. They did not have a lock on the ER door. They did a little bit later. This guy walks in, little bitty farmer looking guy, walks in the emergency room and he is coated with white powder. I was like, stop! Where are you going, bro? And he's like, and he's like, and I'm like, what are you doing? This was before the anthrax stuff. And he's like, something, I work at the concrete plant. Get out! Get out! And so I'm like shoving him out. Ain't nobody else noticed this, and our decon showers outside. It is cold as hell outside. Didn't care. And he had got light on him. And I'm standing like right here. I was like, strip, get in the shower, and cut it on. And I'm like yelling back at him. I was like, y'all need to go get your decon suit on. I can't even get to that. And I'm trying to get in. And he was freezing to death. I felt bad about it, but that's how things like this happen. You know, they get, we had responded to, flew in on a helicopter. We didn't really know what had happened. There had been a car wreck, but this guy got doused in diesel fuel. They didn't even decon him and put him in the back of the ambulance. We opened the back of the ambulance and I was like, oh my God. I'm like, y'all got to pull him out of there and get his clothes off of him. I'm like, we all just to pass out. And then he's like, my skin burns. I'm like, I bet it does. What type chemical? What's the concentration of it? What does this mean? Like, does it have the ability to immediately penetrate through your skin? What location? Eyes. Why has there never been blue candy? Used to, you didn't see it.
Because it looks like
Methylene blue.
fruits.
Yes, ma'am.
Where is it?
What?
There was never blue candy and never green candy. What color is rat poison? What color is antifreeze? Think about it. What color is Drano? I can't even remember when they started. They never was hard candy that was blue raspberry. It looks just like rat poison, doesn't it? They made that stuff that color for a reason. They didn't make candy that looked like that. I ain't eating that. That's rat poison. That's blue raspberry. I'm gonna eat it. Guys, Tide Pods are pretty colors. I'm dead serious. If you're a 2-year-old, it looks like candy.
It's not the 2-year-olds doing it.
I know, they just stupid. I'm sorry. You gonna eat some soap? Come on. And my daughter would tell me, y'all stupid. What makes a difference with electrical burns?
How many?
Voltage. Definitely the voltage. The current. What does that mean? The path. What are we talking about? Where it goes in, where it comes out. How long did you have the exposure? So, sometimes electrical burns are not very impressive. You're like, why's that person dead? Really? You got an itty bitty hole right here. And they're in cardiac arrest. But they got an itty bitty burn right here. And where's the other one? Right here. Because they reached up and grabbed this 2,000 amp, whatever, and where did it ground? Right here. What's right here? It's going to go to ground. So, if your electrician is working and they have pliers in their back pocket, where's it going to go to ground? Right there. It might not be very impressive. Everything between point A and point B is burned. No. If somebody is having that, if they touch that much voltage, they can't let go. And when you touch them, you can't let go. That's why they say if you know that there's, like, if you're gonna try it, and if that was my child, I'd try it, but you have to take a running start and see if you can knock them off of it. Because if you touch them and you don't knock them off of it, now you're stuck. Or take wood, a non-conducting whatever.
Get a chair.
A chair.
That's what, like in our house and stuff, we have a completely wooden chair just in case something happens. It's like we get it and we push them off just in case. Since our house is old. No, just like
Guys, electricity is scary to me. And I always heard, if you in your car, you are safe from, and I guess he was, you are safe from a thunderstorm. I was working on the ambulance, and they called us out, and they said this vehicle had got struck by lightning. And I'm like, really? Y'all? And this was a beautiful black Dodge Ram. You see how much this imprinted on me. And we go rolling up, and it was an electrical storm like no other. But it stopped, and there's a car back here, got her flashers on, and she comes running up to me. She said, I saw it. It struck the front of his grill. And I was like, okay. So I run up there, and do y'all know what I mean when you smell ozone, that electrical burn? Y'all, I pulled his door open. His dash is dripping. And I'm sitting there staring at him, and he's about Tony's size, and I looked at him, and he looked at me. I said, "Are you okay?" He said, "I think so." He's still gripping the steering wheel. I could look in at his motor. I said, "Are you sure you're okay?" He said, "I think so." I said, I wanted to get him out of that truck. I said, "Can you get out of the truck?" "I think so." There was nothing wrong with him. It melted everything in there. I don't know why he didn't get shocked. Yeah. It did. It hit the front. That lady, she was a great witness. She said it hit the front grill. I don't know how he didn't wreck. He was driving. He managed to get it to the side of the. He was in the median. And after I got him in the ambulance, I was like, I checked him over 35 times, put him on the monitor, nothing. And I'm like, "You sure we're going to hospital? You sure? You sure? You sure?" Okay, fine. But after his wife came and got him, I went back and looked at that truck. I was like, yeah, that was unbelievable. Like, that much electricity to do that much damage was unbelievable. Voltage, current, the path of the electricity. Just like Miranda said, if it is a high enough voltage, when you touch it, it causes such strong contractions, it breaks bones. And it is, so first, second, third, fourth degree bone is through bone and tendon. A lot of times, fourth degree bone is post-mortem. You usually don't see that unless they're dead. Unless it's like an extremity and the rest of them is burned really bad and this part is, I mean, that's dead. That's going to have to be amputated.
Also, for like the railroad track, you know where to walk and where not to walk based on how many dead animals you see.
That third rail is up underneath there on purpose. You can't see it, but if you fall off there, you might find it. There's a lot of dangerous things about electrical burns, though they don't look bad. You're like, oh, that's not very bad at all. Because it's just got a little pinprick burn place. But it's like the Titanic. Oh, look, it's just sticking out a little bit, and then your whole boat goes down. What is rhabdomyolysis?
Isn't it?
Yeah.
Where do they go?
Here.
They go to the kidneys and cause what? Y'all just talked about it. What? Oh, kidney injury and kidney failure. No. How do you know that? Yeah, say it. You go in and they got a Foley in and what?
It's brown.
Brown. Guys, that's deadly. Electrical burns. You need to be highly suspicious of this. That's important. Because rhabdo will kill your patient. And this is just for a critical thinking moment. When else would you see rhabdo? What other kind of injury that would break down muscle tissue? What kind? They're not dead yet. It is a trauma.
Like a break of a bone?
Wait,
what was the question?
Crushing injury,
Well,
which
there's-
leads to what? Compartment syndrome. It causes muscle injury, breakdown, goes to the kidneys, rhabdomyolysis. Very good. Can you get compartment syndrome with a burn? Abso-freaking-lutely. That's one of the very dangerous things. How do we classify it? We're probably gonna stop here. Now, y'all know what ACLS is, right?
Yeah.
They make a burn class like that. If you are going to do trauma at one of the big trauma centers, if you're gonna do burn, you need to take the class. I'm pretty sure the test does say first, second, third, and fourth, but it is also, this is correct terminology. We need to start using it. It ain't hard. Superficial thickness, partial thickness, full thickness, deep full thickness. Second, third, and fourth. Guys, I'm not asking y'all about first degree burns. They don't come to the hospital. We don't rate those. Partial thickness, full thickness, deep full thickness. That's how we classify them. Questions about today? So what am I supposed to do? I'm supposed to go up and talk to Dr. Wilk about finding out when we can do the sim. The last week of April, first week of May. What's today, Wednesday? So we will finish this up on Monday. And then you guys have hematology, and guess what?
No test.
Then that's it.
What are we doing next Wednesday?